Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 on Monday, May 7th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Bill Bank Greene. Bank, great to talk to you this morning. How you doing?
Doing good, David. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Always good to have you on the show here, your second appearance. And there's a lot to talk about. We'll talk a lot about recruiting on today's show from the Ohio standpoint, the kids that are in the state of Ohio. We're going to end the show with some stuff about the current quarterback competition at Ohio State, but a lot of recruiting stuff to get into. First of all, obviously Ohio State, of their 9 commits right now, 3 are from the state of Ohio. Just from an overall perspective, the 2019 crop of Ohio kids, would you say it's better than average compared to the last few years, or how would you assess it, Bill?
I think it's deeper in terms of the total of Division I signees that there's going to be. At the top, I think it's maybe a little deeper, the guys Ohio State would consider. I think it might be a little deeper than it has been in the past. Yeah, I think they've issued more offers and are showing more interest to the Ohio guys than they have in the past couple of years. So I would think it's a better class.
Let's go right down the list. We'll start at the top. I'm asking you about some of the best uncommitted recruits from the state of Ohio, the 2019 class that the Buckeyes ran on. And, of course, Zack Harrison, everybody knows about him. Olentangy Orange. Number 2, weak side defensive end in the country. Number 3 overall player in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. Obviously, the best player in the state of Ohio. What's your gut feeling? What are you hearing about Zack Harrison? I know he loves Penn State, but I know he loves Ohio State too.
Yeah, I think he does love Penn State, and he does love Ohio State. Larry Johnson. The parents have been Ohio State fans their whole life, but they were kind of wowed by Penn State. So. In the end, when you're in a razor-thin situation like this, what's going to make the difference? And it could be his relationship with his mother. And where you're at Penn State, she's going to try to see you when she can, and he's going to try to get home when he can. But when you're at Ohio State, he can come home on a Wednesday night and have spaghetti if he wants to. Can't do that in Happy Valley. So I think that may be the deciding factor, and I think it's close. I think it's very close between those two schools. And I think Michigan is window dressing. Notre Dame's out. Clemson, to me, is just I'll believe it when I see it. But, Jack Carmen, I would have said the same thing a year ago. But I think Zach is down to Ohio State and Penn State. And I think the proximity will weigh out in the end. But this is a battle. And so don't be shocked, if he goes to Penn State. But I think the Buckeyes can win this one. And I think Urban has got this on such high priority. After losing Jack Carmen last year, his antenna are way up for this one, and he's going to fight this thing to the death. So this is going to be one that maybe they slept on Jack Carmen a little bit, thinking that they had him. Well, they're not sleeping on Zack Harrison. So they're going to do whatever they can do, and he's going to be a top-of-the-board talent that they're going to chase till the death. So I think they're going to win this one in the end, but it's going to be a fight.
I was surprised about Carmen, too, and you were a lot closer to it than I was. But the whole time I was just like, okay, he's flirting with Clemson. He just likes the attention. He'll be a Buckeye in the end. I did all these radio interviews. If somebody would ask me about recruiting and ask me about him, I'd always say, he'll be a Buckeye in the end. I think one difference here is Zack Harrison's in Urban Meyer's backyard. And as you mentioned, they're recruiting him even harder. But I cannot imagine, maybe I'm wrong, I cannot imagine Urban Meyer losing out on a kid from Columbus that he really wants to Penn State. And maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens. I do want to ask you about Zeke. I want to ask you about Zeke Correll next. Same high school as Andrew Norwell. Things worked out pretty well for him. Cincinnati Anderson. Zeke Correll, number 5 player in the state of Ohio, number 9 offensive guard in the country, number 164 overall player in the country. Do you feel like Zeke Correll is going to be a Buckeye, Bill?
I have for the longest time, but in fact, I just changed my crystal ball from Ohio State to Notre Dame here in the past hour. I've been feeling like the trending away from Ohio State for the past 2 to 3 weeks, and I just don't like where this one sits at all. So I'm not feeling it to Ohio State. Could be wrong here. Another one. This is another one of those razor-thin battles. They're in a battle. Ohio State will get an official visit. And a year ago, we can go back on these recruitments and, people that think they're connected or whatever, I would have told you Tyreek Smith was a done deal to Penn State. And there was a time late in the process that Tyreek Smith was a done deal to Penn State. It was over. But, Ohio State fought it out and got it. So can that happen with Zeke Correll? Wouldn't shock me if they pulled it back. But, man, for where I sit right now, May 7th in the morning, I think he's going to Notre Dame.
Wow. Interesting. The
Dave?
twist and turns of recruiting. Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
You know it, man. You know it.
Yeah, the twist and turns of recruiting. It's crazy. Jowon Briggs. What's the latest on Jowon Briggs? He's an interesting prospect from Cincinnati. Tell the listeners about Jowon Briggs.
I really like him. He's not super tall. He's in that 6'1" range, in that D.D. Landers range. Very similar player to him. Bulldog, fight you to the death type kid. We'll see. I don't think he could call Ohio State today and issue a commitment, and it would be accepted. I think he's going to have to come to camp and really tear it up. So we'll see. I mean, they took 3 D tackles last year. They got a lot of them on the roster right now. The position being what it is, it's always going to be a priority position. But yet, I don't think they're going to take 3 this year. So we'll see. I don't think Jowon is on the A list right now. I think he's a B lister that they'll want to see in camp, and he'll have to wow them to be, approved to get in. He's looking at a lot of other schools, high academic kid. So we'll see where this one goes. But I don't think he could make the call today and be in this class.
I'm asking you about a lot of kids from Southwest Ohio here. The next one, Jonathan Allen, Dayton Dunbar, big offensive tackle, 6'6", 315. What do the listeners need to know about Jonathan Allen, Bank?
Basketball player, huge bodied kid. You mentioned the 6'6", 315. I think he could stand to lose a little weight and then let, his college strength and conditioning program build him back up. But he has what you look for in a developmental offensive tackle. I would put him in that Thayer Mumford realm of a guy who's, when you look at him today, he's not what he's going to be 2-3 years from today. He's got the feet. He's got the frame. He's got the length. Dark kid. He's got a twin sister that is a great athlete. Lots to like with Jonathan Allen. And I think Ohio State is in the total driver's seat there. I'll be stunned if he's not a Buckeye. And I think it's a good get for them. They need tackles in this class. Okay, so the Zeke Correll thing, you want him, but, you're going to get Harry Miller, and if Doug Nestor's a guard, I mean, you got to turn towards some tackles here. And Jonathan Allen's a pure tackle, probably a left tackle. So I like it. I think they're going to get him, and I'll be anxious to see how he develops.
Last kid I want to ask you about from the state of Ohio, Isaiah Gibson, another kid from Southwest Ohio. Springfield, another big boy, defensive tackle, 6'4", 298. Tell the listeners about Isaiah Gibson.
Yeah, this is a really good-looking 6'4", 298, where a year ago he might have been 6'4", 278 and looked kind of sloppy maybe with some baby fat on him. Now he's put 20 pounds on and he looks thinner. I mean, he's working his tail off in the weight room, and that's something you can't hide. You're either working or you're not, and we can see it. So he was at the Nike event, the opening in Massillon the other day, did really well until, they don't wear helmets and those things. They wear these padded headgears that doesn't cover your face. And he took a shot to the face, to the nose, and to his eye. He was bleeding, so he had to call a halt to the proceedings there. But he was really good, very quick off the ball. Interesting here is he is saying he is not going to camp for offers. He's got about 20 now in, Minnesota, Kentucky, Iowa State, that gang. And he is adamant that he will not camp to earn a new offer. But I think Ohio State would love to see him in camp. So the big thing here is, can they get him to come to camp, and will he tear it up? I mean, when you look at the body type, he fits with the, where Briggs would compare to Landers, Isaiah Gibson would compare favorably to Draymond Jones at the same age. That's 6'4" defensive tackle that's wide, quick off the ball, very athletic. So there's a lot to like with Isaiah Gibson. I don't think there's any chance they would take him without a camp appearance, and right now he is saying there will be no camp appearances. So got to see where this one works out here in the next month.
Fantastic insights on recruiting. But before I let you go, the other big topic in the Buckeye Nation right now, obviously recruiting's taking up half of it, and the other half is like, what's going to happen with Joe Burrow and Dwayne Haskins? I know you and I are both hearing things out there, just What do you want to share as far as what you're hearing as far as, Joe Burrow and the possibilities of him transferring within the near future, Bank?
I think it's real. And I think the fact that Joey is pretty forthright and pretty honest when he's asked about it. He could give the company line answer of, I'm staying here, this is my school, I would never – no, he's not doing that. And the scuttlebutt is out there that he is talking to other schools the most – and I know there's a lot of Nebraska stuff out there between Joey and Nebraska, Scott Frost, and that could be very, very real. The school I heard yesterday, and it makes sense, is Florida. The Florida QB situation is not good. They don't feel Emory Jones is ready to play right now. They're not happy with what they were handed to over there. Dan Mullen has got a great reputation as the quarterback guru, so there's a lot of things there make sense. And I did hear Joey Burrow's name come up yesterday. An interesting sidelight here is Joey's dad, Jimmy Burrow, is a college coach at Ohio University, and he's been a college coach for a lot of years. He's a great guy. So he has built relationships all around the country. It's a great fraternity these college coaches have. So I'm sure he's maybe, in the lead here in terms of guiding Joey as to what he should do. So do I know what the kid's going to do? I do not. But like I say, when I heard the Florida thing yesterday, that kind of piqued my interest.
It makes a lot of sense, and I'll throw this out there. I keep hearing rumblings that for people I trust that, hey, basically I've been told, and I know so many words, hey, get your Burrow transfer pre-write going. Make sure you get that. Make sure you get that written. I'm like, we never pre-write stories at Bucknuts. What are you talking about? Except when we do. So I keep hearing, nothing's official. Maybe there'll be a change of mind, but there's just so much smoke here that it's going to be Haskins' job and Burrow's going to transfer. Again, the listeners, that's not official or anything. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. You come here for the inside scoops and to hear analysis. Yeah, I mean, Bill, I just keep hearing, man, that it's more likely than not that Burrow's going to transfer and it's going to be Haskins' job.
Well, I always try to look at these things if these kids were my own sons, and I'm old enough to do that. So I look at Joey, just think for him to stay at Ohio State, he would need a guarantee from Urban Meyer that he is going to be the starting quarterback this year. Excuse me, and I just don't think they can give him that guarantee. But the whole idea is you got to come in and compete, and you got to. Well, you're risking too much there, in my opinion. I think Joey's risking too much. I think he's an NFL guy. Can't be an NFL guy if you're not on the field. If Haskins is the starter this year and blows up, going to leave for the NFL, then Haskins is going to be the starter next year too, and then Joey Burrow for 5 years. He doesn't want that. I think it's too risky to stay at Ohio State and try to beat out a guy that looks like is their guy. I think it's too risky, and I don't think anyone could blame Joey if he left Ohio State because, he wouldn't be leaving dissatisfied or disgruntled. He loves the program. He loves Ohio State. He would love nothing more than to be the starting quarterback for Ohio State for the next couple of years, and he would be a great one. I have no doubt. The position where you got to commit to one and you got to play one. And they've got two supremely talented guys who both feel they should be on the field, and both are right. It's just a tough spot, and this is what you get recruited to level Urban Meyer recruits at. This is inevitable to happen.
Exactly. So well said, and I agree with all of those points. I mean, we talked about this before. I mean, if Joe Burrow was the starting quarterback for Ohio State, I have no doubt they could not only win, but win big with him. I think they can win big with Dwayne Haskins, and nobody wants a two-quarterback system, so they had to pick one, and we'll see. It sounds like they maybe are close to picking Haskins. We shall find out, I would think, in the near future, but we'll see. Great insights from Bill Greene on recruiting, on the quarterback competition. Really appreciate it, Bank. You can read his stuff on Bucknuts, 24/7 Sports, everywhere. So make sure you read his stuff. I know all of you do. Appreciate it, Bill, and I appreciate all the listeners out there for tuning into the show. Hope you have a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.